get so mad, there's no controlling me. My thoughts get so bad, I'm like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show.
Thank you so much for joining me, Norman. It's lovely to see you again, and I'll let you introduce yourself, but I am going to say there will be, I hope, a few people watching with really fond memories. I know you've left us AV people slightly. You tried to escape from AV, but does anybody really escape AV?
Never, never.
So tell us a bit about yourself and your where you are now.
Yeah, Norman Case. Been in AV, let me see, for the best part about 20-25 years, I think it was. So working for the likes of LG, Samsung, and probably my last role in AV was at BTEC, fantastic BTEC from Northamptonshire. But yeah, so sort of 5 years at BTEC, and left in October of last year to pursue a job and a career in the point of sales manufacturing or fabrication. And we've basically worked for a company called Wembar Limited. And what we do is we fabricate acrylics, plastics, and sustainable materials to the luxury goods industry. And so some household names that you'd know, the L'Oreal's, Estee Lauder, and so forth, the LVMH. To name
all the because you're worth it brands then.
Well, some people might say so.
Was there any time where you felt that there was any job that you couldn't go for, or that you didn't see anybody like you in an organisation? Did that thought ever cross your mind?
Yeah, going way back to that, for my first jobs in sales and going on from there to the point of my name, Norman Case. You know, you don't expect to see a black guy sitting in reception. So, you know, I'd make appointments. Yep, Norman Case. Yep, sat in reception, and you watch somebody come down and Norman Case. Then I stand up and it's all right, okay, fine. Wasn't expecting me, sort of thing, and that was great. And you know, I'd sort of laugh inside about it and so on. Anyway, but certainly and I think probably subconsciously, I'd always sort of greet people with a smile, so especially in business, because then it starts to disarm them, try to make them feel comfortable. You know, before I could actually do my work, my selling, getting to know that person, sell whatever it was that I was selling at the time, it was all about trying to disarm people by proving, it's a big black guy that's come to see me. I'd have to then compensate. I'm not a threat. You know, I'm here for the reason of selling X, Y, Z. I don't know, maybe there's an assumption on my part, but I found myself automatic, and all the way through my career, smile, be pleasant, be polite to people. And that just happens naturally anyway. But if I stop and examine it, I find that I would smile and say, oh yeah, he's a really chilly guy, da, da, da. And part of that was automatically to make people feel at ease, not to be threatened by me for whatever reason they may think I'm sort of compensating. And so in terms of sort of stopping and saying, I don't think I could go for that role, I would always just, if there was a role or something that I fancied and I wanted to go for, I'd go for it anyway. I wouldn't stop and think, oh, because I'm black, I better not. No, I would go for it anyway. And if I was denied a position because of the colour of my skin, the problem wasn't with me, it's with whoever it was, full stop. That's my attitude to it. 100%. But I'm completely, just the way that I am anyway. I like to be happy, and I believe certainly at work you need to be happy, because you spend the majority of your life at work, you know, doing stuff.
You
So
do.
you might as well be happy.
But I've heard, so I've had the same experience for you. So I can't say that I've got first-hand experience of discrimination on that level, but I know it exists. I'm not blinkered. I know it happens.
Absolutely.
And it's well documented. And it's interesting you said about your name. It's well documented that people with a foreign sounding name have to apply for X amount more jobs. And that's something that's actually researched, and those stats are produced every year. That if your name sounds whatever, you're not even gonna get shortlisted. And so they don't even get to be in reception looking like Norman Case, right? They don't even get that far, because their name has, you know, whatever connotation.
Weeded them out automatically,
already.
Absolutely,
And I've also heard recently from a friend of mine who's outside of the industry but works in recruitment, that actually they were actively told, how many applicants have you got for this job? We need more women. So can you filter out some of the men, because we need, for the interview for the shortlist, we need X amount of women. So it's not even just about ethnicity. It's even down to that level. But then there are some names that you can't tell, right? So I'm like, well, I've got a conversation coming up actually with some recruiters, but I have said it before. What if we removed names and identity from job applications, and actually went in as candidate number whatever, and obviously somebody along the line would need to know contact details or whatever, whoever's in whoever's managing the recruitment or whatever. I know that's harder to do when you're a smaller organization because there's less layers, but certainly for some of the bigger organizations, wouldn't that just level out the playing field a little bit?
Wow, that is a really interesting idea. I think that's fantastic.
So you can only go by the experience that's there, and then nobody can be, it can't be skewed. You know, that memo would never exist. Oh, you're shortlisting for this post.
Yes.
You know, are there any people of color in there?
Yeah, absolutely.
The right person for the job. It's kind of it's simple.
Absolutely.
I've also heard from some places that they've struggled to recruit, even where they have a they might not in the immediate vicinity of where they're based have much in terms of a multicultural community to draw from in terms of the recruitment pool. But there's a town nearby, there's a city nearby that is quite multicultural, but they still don't see the applicants.
Right.
So what is it about an organization that would switch someone off? Because I haven't had that experience. I just wondered if you'd ever come across it, or if you'd spotted anything or had any advice for anyone.
Wow, that's an interesting one. That's a real tough one.
Because what makes somebody, and maybe I'm too old and too far away from it, what makes somebody look at an organization and say, yeah, and actually I could belong here, I could fit in here and be accepted?
Do you know what? There was, to tell you what, as an example, BTEC. When I left, I said to everyone there, and the MD was there as well, and I said, you know, it's funny. I sort of likened it a little bit to a football team, and where you had sort of Alex Ferguson, for example, using Man United, if you like, and the team was very much in the image of Alex Ferguson, in that it was aggressive, it was bold, it was cantankerous, it was just gnarly, you know, as a team, and it made them successful, and that's great. But then, and so Man United became almost, if you like, an image of Alex Ferguson, or Sir Alex Ferguson. And I likened it very much to like BTEC, and very much like like the MD there, where nobody took themselves too seriously. As a company, it's very open, very welcoming, almost sort of self-deprecating to some degree, but not in a horrible way. But each individual's attitude wasn't to take that themselves too seriously, but was very professional. And I think even if you through the industry and even with our competitors, they're telling me actually they're a really nice bunch of people. They're really, it's a good company.
Really are, yeah, they are.
Yeah,
I've hung out with them. They really are.
Yeah, massively, very open, very welcoming. Nobody has an ego. It's. I would say, you know what, you could use that as a model. I would stand up and say you could use BTEC as a model, definitely, as said about inclusion, being open, being inventive, being dynamic as a company as well, because just through the products itself, it just lends itself to imagination and what is possible, what can be done. But I would say, Matt Bennett is, the company is very much in the image of this guy. It's fantastic. I'm actually feeling a bit emotional actually talking about it, but
give him his old job back.
no, that aside anyway. But no, seriously, as a company, I would say, as an example, I would look strongly at BTEC.
That's really interesting, because what you're saying there is that company culture determines, and is set by the top. Yeah,
absolutely. Everyone, from we go from.
I do believe in top down, bottom up.
Yeah.
I believe in all of that. I really do. I think company culture. It really does. But if it's not there, company. It can't. It can't come from the bottom up. It has to. It has to meet.
Absolutely.
Totally. Yeah.
And, you can get the sales guys, Matt out there, and operations director Mark Walker, and everything. Those guys make the company, in terms of as an open, welcoming organization. Fantastic.
What a lovely, what a beautiful advert for them.
Other
companies and employers.
It is what it is. As we like to say, it is what it is.
And you know what? We can only speak from our experience.
Yes, indeed.
So coming back to my original question of good, bad, and ugly, so I'm thinking you're saying that BTEC's the good.
Yeah.
The bad you never let near you, and the ugly as well, I guess. Is that?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the ugly. Crikey. Yeah, they know who they are. And unfortunately,
I wonder if they do. I think.
No,
some of the stories that I've heard and been told and so on, I do sometimes wonder if sometimes people get away with things so much that they don't see it. It becomes it's a different kind of conditioning, right? It's a different. The context changes.
Yeah, I think let's say, and it goes from the top. And it works its way down. It permeates through the company, and
people become institutionalized.
And very much so. And I think that sort of bullying culture. I know it still exists. I'm sure it still exists. But let's say those companies are now, I think, becoming more fewer and further between.
I think so.
I still maintain, anyone starting out and thinking about a career, look at AV. It's fantastic. It is a great sort of industry. It is relatively small, but so you get to know people quicker. So be good, just be good, because word travels, And but I would say. A vast majority that outweighs any bad tenfold that I've met and had the privilege to experience. Working with some really, really good people people that are still, I'm very proud to call friends today. In
Thank
fact,
you.
yeah, and some of them being customers of mine, and to the point, go out for a curry, or we have a beer every now and again, have catch up and so forth, and just
Yeah,
fantastic.
I'll wait for my invite then.
Don't you worry. Don't you worry.
That's a lovely place to stop. So
No,
thank you so much.
my absolute
I'm going to
pleasure.
put your LinkedIn so people can connect with you. Just I know how efficient
Very
you
kind.
are on LinkedIn, so just make sure
Yeah,
you
right.
watch those requests.
I will do, most definitely.
But thank you so much. It's been really lovely to speak with you and spend some time just reminiscing about the good old days.
Yeah, my absolute pleasure. In fact, it's an honour to spend some time with you and have a chat, and certainly hope that we will catch up in the flesh and have a drink, and maybe even some fish and chips or something.
Lucky me.
You take care, my lovely. Absolute pleasure. Thank you.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow